Hi and welcome, dear students. Today we are going to discuss the topic prefixes. Prefix is made up of two words. One is the pre and second is the fix. Pre means before something and fix means to attach something. For example, if we have an SI unit of length, that is meter, write a letter with it before it, K. This K is a prefix. It has a specific meaning in physics, and this K stands for 1000, and 1000 can also be written as 10 to the power 3. So this K has a specific meaning that whenever we have to write this 1000, in place of 1000 we will use the letter K, or in place of 10 to the power 3 we will use the letter K. Another prefix is mega, capital M, megameter for example, and this M is also a prefix and it has also the special meaning for this. Whenever there are 6 zeros with 1, that is 10 to the power 6, we will use the letter capital M to represent the 6 zeros or 10 to the power 6. This capital M is a prefix. Now the question arises, why do we use sometimes we come across very large numbers or the very small numbers. The large numbers has a larger number of digits or a larger number of zeros with 1. For example, if there are 3 zeros with 1, it is called 1000. If there are 6 zeros with 1, then it is called 1000. And 1000 is written as 10 to the power 3. And this 1000,000 or 1 billion can be written as 10 to the power 6. Similarly, if I have 9 zeros with 1, then it becomes very difficult for me to write 9 zeros because it takes a lot of time. And similarly, there is a possibility that I may drop any zero or I may increase any zero while I am writing the large number of zeros. But it is very easy to write 10 to the power 9 as compared to write 9 zeros with 1. And this 10 to the power 9 can be represented by a letter capital G, which stands for giga. So this 10 to the power 3, here we use the letter K for it. Whenever you will see K with some SI unit, you must know that this is not a K, but this is 1000. So in place of 1000 we use the letter K, and this letter K is the prefix. For example, the distance between the cities is represented in kilometer, and it is very easy for us to understand how much the distance between the cities are. Similarly, 10 to the power 6 is called mega, and we use the letter capital M to represent the mega. So whenever you see capital M written with any SI unit, then you must have a concept in your mind that this is 10 to the power 6, or there are 6 zeros with 1. So these are some examples of the prefixes for very large quantities. Similarly, we come across in science especially the quantities which are very small, for example less than 1. In mathematics, we represent the quantities which are quantities by dividing anything with a larger number. It will make it very smaller. For example, 1 over 10. Here 10 has the power of 1. It can be written as 10 to the power minus 1 or negative 1. This 10 to the power negative 1 has a specific letter represented and this is called deci, and we represent this deci with the letter D, which is the first letter of the deci. Similarly, if I divide 1 with 100, then 100 can also be written as 10 to the power 2, and 10 to the power 2, 1 over 10 to the power 2 can be written as 10 to the power negative 2. This negative 2, or 1 divided by 100, if we divide 1 with 100 into 100 equal parts, then that each part is called centi, or we can write it as 10 to the power minus 2, and the symbol which we use for centi is the C. So whenever you will see C with any unit, for example centimeter, so you must know that this is the 100th part of a meter. This 1 over 100 means 100th part of a meter. So how to represent the 1000th part of something? We will divide by 1000, it means the part of something, and this 1000 can be as 10 to the power 3, and 1 over 10 to the power 3 is mathematically written as 10 to the power negative or minus 3. This 10 to the power minus 3 is called milli, and we use the letter M for it. For example, you must have seen many times in physics, a length can be written as millimeter. This second M stands for the meter, and this first M is the prefix, which stands for 10 to the power negative 3. So these are some of the prefixes which I have gave you the concept of how the prefixes come across. If I go to next slide, here we are given a table of prefixes. These prefixes are, some prefixes are represented by the positive powers of 10, and some prefixes are represented by the negative power of 10. When the things are larger and larger and larger, then we use different powers of 10 according to their size. For example, 10 to the power 1 is called deca, 10 to the power 2 is called hecto, 10 to the power 3 is called kilo. Similarly, 10 to the power we have the prefixes for 10 to the power 1, 2 and 3, but we have no prefix for the 10 to the power 4 or 5. After 10 to the power 3, we have a prefix for 10 to the power 6. And this 10 to the power 6 is called mega, and we use capital M for it. And here 10 to the power 9 is giga, 10 to the power 12 is tera, 10 to the power 15 is peta, and 10 to the power 18 is exa. When the things are very small, for example, if a thing is a 10th part of something, we use deci or 10 to the power minus 1. If something is 100th part of something, we use centi or 10 to the power minus 2. If something is divided into 1000 parts and each part is called milli, so we use 10 to the power negative 3 for it. For example, if I draw a line here, if I draw a line here, and if the length of this line is 1 meter, 1 meter you must have seen in your life whenever you go to the market to buy the clothes for your wearing. So the shopkeeper gives you cloth with measuring with a rod which is made of some metal, and the length of that rod is 1 meter. If I divide this 1 meter into 10 equal parts, then one part is the smaller part of this, then this is called 1 over 10 or 10 to the power minus 1, or it is called decimeter, mean 10th part of a meter. If I divide this whole length into 100 equal parts, then one part which will become smaller and mathematically it can be written as 1 over 100 and 1 over 10 to the power 2 and 10 to the power negative 2. Then this 100th part of something which is mathematically represented by 10 to the power minus 2 is called centi, and this is the prefix which we will use since the length is in meters, so we write centimeters. Similarly, if we divide this total length which is 1 meter into 1000 equal parts, then one part which will become more smaller, and that is written as 10 to the power minus 3, and it is called milli. And m, small m, is used to represent 10 to the power minus 3 or 1 over 1000 part of something, and milli is the prefix which we use for 1000 parts of a something. Similarly, we can divide this length which is 1 meter into 10 lakh parts, and the length of that part which cannot be seen with our naked eye is at a micro level, and it is called 10 to the power minus 6. If we divide 1 with 10 to the power 6 means 10 lakh parts, and it is called micro, and we use the prefix mu for it, which is a Greek letter, and this is called micrometer. This is a so small thing that we cannot see with our eye. We will have to use microscope to see those objects which are very small. The things are even smaller than the micro level. For example, it may be a further smaller as the radius of the atom. It is 10 to the power minus 9, which is a nano. Similarly, other prefixes are minus 12, which is pico, minus 15, which is femto, and minus 18, which is atto. For example, we are given here 200,000 meter. So I am asked to write this 200,000 meter by using the prefixes 200 and then 1000 meters. It's very obvious for some of the students that this can also be written as 2 into 10 to the power 5 because there are 5 zeros. But this is not a prefix because there is no prefix with 10 to the power 5. So how we will convert into prefixes? The method is that the prefixes are 10 to the power 3 or 10 to the power 6. For example, if I write here, I can write 200 and the 1000 can be written as 10 to the power 3, and since the length is 1 meter, so 10 to the power 3 is a prefix. And as we discussed earlier, that's 10 to the power 3, which is 1000, and it can be written as, the prefix we use for 1000 is kilo, so it is 200 kilometer. Hence, we have written 200,000 meter in the prefixes form 200 kilometer. So we go to our next example. The next example is we have to convert 4800,000 watt. Watt is a unit of power. I write here 4800 and then 1000 and watt. So there are 5 zeros here, and we know that there is no prefix with 5 zeros. Then how will we convert? We write these 3 zeros as 10 to the power 3, and now we are expert in writing 10 to the power 3 prefix. We use the letter K for it. This is kilo and watt. Now this is a one way of writing the 4800,000 watt into 4800 kilowatt. We can also convert this as in another form. For example, if I have 4800 and 1000 watts, but if I multiply and divide with 10, then there will be no effect with the original value, because this 10 and 10 will cancel each other and we will be left the same amount. But this multiplying and dividing will help us write something. For example, if I divide 48 by 100, I get 4.8. And similarly, the 5 zeros here and 1 zero from the 10 can be written as 10 to the power 6. And watt is the unit. So we know that the 10 to the power 6 is the prefix which we use for the 10 to the power 6 is mega. So in place of 10 to the power 6, we will write the letter capital M, so that now it can also be written as 4.8 megawatt. So we have seen here that we can write any number with different forms of prefixes. For example, 4800,000 watt can be written as 4800 kilowatt, or it can also be written as 4.8 megawatt. One thing, students, which you must be careful while using the prefixes, that the two prefixes cannot be used at a time. For example, we cannot use K or the M with each other. Either we will use only K or either we will use only M for the prefixes to be written. And here we are asked 3300,000 hertz. Hertz is the SI unit for frequency. 3300 and then 1000 and then 1000 and hertz. Dear student, as you see that it becomes very tedious to write so many zeros, but it is very easy to write 6 zeros as 10 to the power 6. For example, these 3 zeros and 3 zeros make 10 to the power 6. And in place of 10 to the power 6, to write just one letter capital M is more easy. And this capital M is a prefix which we have used in place of 10 to the power 6, and it is called mega. This is one way of writing this number. Another way we can write this 3300,000 hertz in another form. For example, if I write again here 3300 and then 1000 and then 1000 hertz. You can see here there are total 8 zeros, and we have no prefix with 8 zeros or 10 to the power 8. So what will we do? We will multiply this by 10 and also divide by 10, because multiplying and dividing this 10 and 10 will cancel each other and we will have no effect on the original value which we are given. But this will help us to write the numbers in another form or in an easier form. For example, when we divide 33 by 10, it becomes 3.3. And now we have 8 zeros here and 1 zero from the 10. So we can write it as 9 zeros can be written as 10 to the power 9. And hertz is the SI unit for it. And 10 to the power 9 is giga. So we can write it as 3.3 gigahertz. It means that we have learned two methods how to convert 3300,000 hertz. One is the 3300 megahertz, and the other method or the way is to write 3.3 gigahertz. Similarly, we know I mean to say that we have to convert 0.0000 and another 0 and 2 gram in using the prefixes. What will we do? First of all, we will convert decimal fraction into common fraction. To convert a decimal fraction into common fraction, we usually write 1 in place of this decimal and put zeros with 1 and in the number of digits or in the numerator or above the line. For example, here 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 zeros are here. I will put the 5 zeros here. So now we are left with 2 over 10 to the power 5. But and this 10 to the power 5 can be written as 2 multiplied 10 to the power negative 5 grams. But we are very familiar that there is no prefix which represents 10 to the power minus 5. Now what will we do? What will we do? We will divide this 10 to the power 5 into two parts. For example, 10 to the power 2 and 10 to the power 3. Since why we have written as 2 and 3? Because we know that 10 to the power 3 is a prefix which has some representation. So 2 over 100, 10 to the power 2 is the 100, and 10 to the power 3 can be written as 10 to the power negative 3. And 2 over 100 mathematically, if we divide using calculator, 2 over 100 can be written as 0.02. And 10 to the power minus 3 is a prefix, and we use small m, which is a milli, and gram, and we can write it as 0.02 milligram. Now we go to the next example. The next example is, we are written here 0.336 and 2, 8 zeros are here, 0 point and then 8 zeros, 3 and 3 6 and 2 8 and then it is 81 and the unit is the meter. So first of all, the same thing which we did in the previous example, that we convert the decimal fraction into common fraction. In place of decimal, we will write 1 here, and in place of the digits which are above the line, we will write all the zeros. For example, there are 8 zeros and 8 and 1, so there are 10 digits, so we will write 10 zeros here. So now if we write in more simpler form, then it can be written as 81 over 10 multiplied 10 to the power 9. Now you must ask, why we have written as 10 into 10 to the power 9? We could also write it as 10 to the power 10. But 10 to the power 10 is not any prefix, so we have divided it into two parts. One 10 and other for the prefix 10 to the power 9. So we will divide 81 by 10, it gives us 8.1, and when we take 10 to the power 9 in the numerator, it will become 10 to the power negative 9 and it is meter. So we know that 10 to the power negative 9 has a prefix. In place of 10 to the power negative 9, we will use the small n, which is a nano, a prefix for 10 to the power negative 9, and we will also write the meter for it. So this large number can be written as 8.1 nanometer. Thank you very much, dear students. That is all for today. I hope you must have enjoyed the lecture. We have got a concept of prefixes, and we have also solved different examples how to write a very large numbers or a very small numbers using prefixes. Thank you. Hope to see you in next lesson.